Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Before we get started, make sure to hit the subscribe button and also leave a like on the video. 54-year-old Ed Brown quickly became a fan favorite after viewers first met him, but things changed when he traveled to the Philippines to meet his online girlfriend, 23-year-old Rosemary, in person for the first time. Ed, who had sensitive skin and a sensitive diet, obviously also struggled with the humidity in the country and sweated profusely as he and Rose walked through an outdoor market where she continuously pulled money out of Ed's wallet to buy things without asking, which nearly gave Ed a panic attack.
With Rose grabbing my money because that's not what you do.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think it's borderline, inappropriate.
Rose was not smitten by this side of his personality, but things got a lot worse during dinner. Since Rose was rather light-lipped about her romantic past, including the father of her 4-year-old son, Ed decided to ask her to take an STD test.
I think it's a blood test, and they just test to see if you have sexually transmitted disease.
Unsurprisingly, Rose was offended by his lack of trust and replied that she would only take the test if Ed did so too, which he agreed to, but not until they got back to the US. Although they made up later, Ed kept making bad impressions thanks to things like awkwardly asking Rose for a kiss during a foot massage.
You say kiss in Tagalog.
Halik.
Halik. Okay. May I halik you?
Or being a little too shocked by her family's living conditions, Rose eventually ended things with Big Ed, explaining that after meeting him in person, she realized who he really is. There are a lot of couples that treated us to uncomfortable moments during their time on the show, but Jorge and Anfisa definitely took the cake during a tell-all episode on the season finale of 90 Day Fiance a couple of years ago. After host Sean Robinson asked Anfisa if she regretted keying the word idiot in her husband's car, she replied no. When Robinson then tried to find out why not, Anfisa simply stayed silent.
Why not?
The awkward silence seemed to go on and on forever until the host eventually tried to push Anfisa to say something, but only upset her guest so much that she thrown off the stage. Some couples are remembered mainly for their arguments rather than their love story, and Molly and Luis are definitely one of them. They had quite a few crazy fights during their time on the show. You might remember the one where Luis accused Molly of having demons in her house.
But you didn't have a problem getting your butt right up on that plane and coming here, did you?
Let me
For example, he was talking about her ornamental Buddha figures around the house, and she responded by going completely nuts and ranting about how the love for the Lord is in your heart and how the pornography on this phone is the devil rather than her decorations.
You are blaming an object.
You want to speak about this? Let me finish.
Why don't you blame your pornography that I caught on your phone?
While this fight was pretty memorable, these two took things even further during an argument that turned out to seal the end of their relationship. In the previous weeks, they had been fighting so much that Luis eventually locked himself in the guest room, but the fact that he blasted music in her house got Molly so upset that she decided to pick the lock to talk to him. It seemed more like a mother talking to her child at first, but Molly then quickly displayed her childish behavior herself, blocking the door and pushing Luis around until they decided to call the cops rather than speaking to her about their issues.
You're not calling the cops, dude. Stop it. Turn off the music. This is my speaker.
Following the argument, Molly decided to take her daughter to her best friend's house, and when she came back the next day, Luis had packed his stuff up and left her house. We have seen many couples with fairly large age gaps on the show, and it usually makes things even harder, as Fernanda and Jonathan had to find out the hard way. While out clubbing together, Fernanda went to the bathroom only to find Jonathan talking and perhaps dancing with another woman upon returning. And despite him saying that he was pushing the woman away, his fiancée wouldn't have any of it. Their argument in front of the club eventually got so loud that the police drove by to check on them, and even though Jonathan was the one drinking with Fernanda still being underage at that point, she was the one who seemed to blow the whole situation way out of proportion.
You want to get married with me?
Of course I do.
Well, show me, because I don't feel that. No, don't touch me.
That is not to say that she didn't have the right to be angry, but her reaction was definitely a little overdramatic. And that's all the time we have for today's video, guys. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.